Hello there, this is James and you're watching Tixee Live. In today's program, we're going to discuss a certain subject which is on the horizon today. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called the ECB interest rate decision and press conference, mainly focusing on the press conference. But before we get into that, don't forget, these little programs are for educational purposes only and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as advice. I always suggest you do your own research and do your own due diligence. And of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. With that out of the way, let's get started because we've got quite a bit to talk about today. First of all, of course, is this big question. Will today be the day that the ECB joins the rate hike club? What do I mean by that? Is today the day the ECB will join many others and indicate or indeed raise interest rates? Now, the number of countries who have raised interest rates this year are quite a lot, actually. You have the US who raised interest rates by 50 basis points. You've had Australia who's raised it by 50 basis points, UK by 25 basis points, Canada by 50 basis points, and New Zealand by 50 basis points. Other countries who followed suit, who's also raised interest rates this year, includes Korea, Brazil, Hungary, India, Norway, Sweden, Poland, Mexico, and there is many more. So the question is, will the EC be the one now to join the club today, or at least indicate that they're going to join the club? Now, expectation, of course, is that the ECB is set to announce the end of its QE program. If they were to do that, then that does indicate that they're on the path to raise interest rates. Now, last time the ECB raised interest rates was in 2011. And when they did that, inflation was just above their 2% target. Okay, the 2% target, because most central banks' inflation's target is 2%. Okay, 2%. And anyway, when the ECB did this back in 2011, it was a disaster for them. And they entered their second recession soon afterwards. So you can obviously see that in their mind, this is going to play on their mind a bit. Okay, they're going to get concerned about this if they're going to have a repeat of last time when they raised interest rates. Now, don't forget, like I said, they raised interest rates last time, 2011, when inflation was just above their 2% target. Inflation currently stands at the moment at 8.1%. 8.1%. So they really are backed into a corner where they really seriously have to look at and indeed increase interest rates. 2%, just over 2% back in 2011, now 8.1%. So anyway, what is the likely scenarios to occur today? Well, first of all, they're unlikely to raise interest rates today, okay? Unlikely to raise interest rates today. In fact, I'd be really surprised, and I think most analysts will be incredibly surprised if they pulled the trigger today and raise interest rates. Really surprised. So I don't think the market is expecting any indication on their interest rate decision or actually doing something today. The market will be greatly surprised. So in that case, all the eyes of the market, all the attention will be indeed on the ECB press conference. This is happening at 12:30 p.m. UTC, and they will be looking for how Christine Lagarde's tone is. Is she hawkish? If she is hawkish, how aggressively hawkish is she? So they're going to be really looking for that, and it's going to go on for about 45 minutes an hour, and it's potentially could be a big market mover. So the press conference is key. Now, the most likely outcome from this press conference is they will hint they will hint that they will do a 25 basic point hike in July. I think that's what the market is sort of expecting. Okay, they're expecting them to indicate a 25 basic point hike in July. So if that was to happen, the question I would have to ask, would we get a case of buy the rumor, sell the fact? In other words, would the euro come under pressure? Because is the 25 basic point hike in July already priced in? So that could be one scenario. That could potentially happen if it's a case of buy the rumor, sell the fact, and they do the 25 basic point. What the market would truly desire would be if they would indicate a 50 basic point hike. If they were to do that, then we could potentially see a very bullish euro. And we'll have a quick look at the euro, where the euro is standing at the moment. So, like I say, if we get a 25 basic point hint, we could get a case of buy the rumor, sell the fact. If we get a 50 basic point hike, the market could see this as a bullish thing for the euro, and the euro could potentially be bullish on the back of that announcement. Either way, the market still might be disappointed by 50. They might be hoping for further hints, because that's another scenario. They could mention 50 basic points, but then say there's room for further aggressive moves in raking it. So maybe the market might then even look at it at a potential 75 basic point by September. So that is one of the potential scenarios of today. Like I say, let's have a quick look at the euro as it stands. At the moment, it's currently trading under 1.07, or just around the 1.0700 level. Okay, it's under the 200-day moving average. It's under the 50, but it's slightly under the 100-day moving average, where there's a little bit of area of interest at the moment. So it is sort of, slightly, just tinkering around 1.07. And I think, to be fair, it will be tinkering around that. Tinkering? That is a word, isn't it? Tinkering. It'll be sort of trading around that zone for a little while, unless the market starts getting a little bit nervous. And it will trade around that pretty much till we get the press conference. And we see what the reaction of that is. RSI is just above the 30 level as well. So there's no clear indications that it's oversold at the moment. If you look at it on a slightly longer chart as well, so 4 hours, yeah, again, we're in the middle of the RSI. On a 4 hour course, it's above the 100 and above the 200. So there is an area of interest at the moment around this level here, which is just above 1.0659. So yeah, let's see. I mean, the euro potentially could have a very busy day today. The other pair, obviously, I'm going to be watching would be the euro yen. We're looking at that. Obviously, yesterday we discussed about the Bank of Japan and their sort of lack of changing monetary policy. They would be one of the only, if the ECB was to pull the trigger today, BOJ, the Bank of Japan, will be one of the only banks who have got very loose monetary policy left. So that'd be interesting. So yeah, that would be interesting to see how the euro Japanese yen reacts today off the press conference. Currently finding six. We've had a bit of a sell-off, a teeny wee bit of a sell-off. We did talk about the RSI being higher yesterday, and we might have a little bit of sell-off. The overall trend, though, is still pretty bullish, but currently as it stands, it's finding a support around 1.4284, around that 100-day moving average. The RSI is also under 30. So again, depending on the developments from the ECB today, this will be another pair worth looking at as well. So I'll be keeping a close eye on that as well. Now, obviously, I would love to do a live broadcast for this event, but because it's a live event too, and I need to be obviously listening to what is said, I can do a live. But I will be doing a special on it later this afternoon. Usually I go on about 1 p.m. UTC. I'll probably go on a little bit later than that today, probably about 1:30 UTC. Reason why, so I can listen into the press conference, find out what's happening, and then I can go online and share the outcome of that event with you as well. And we can look at the market react. So probably go on a little bit later today, 1:30 p.m. UTC, so we can share what has happened from the press conference. Something else which is happening today at the same time, actually, which again is overshadowed by the press conference, but it's still something worth keeping an eye on. And that is, of course, the US, not the US, because that's, I got ahead of myself. That is, of course, the US initial claims today, which is due at 12:30 p.m. UTC. Expectation is 200,000. So that was that could also potentially be a bit of a market mover. It is overshadowed, unfortunately, by the press conference, which is understandable, but still that'd be worth looking at because the US labor market is very strong, and that's still sort of holding up hope that the Fed, who will no doubt look again at increasing interest rates in the future. So people will be looking at the labor market to see and indicate how aggressive the Fed may be in the future. So remember, last time it came out better than expected at 210,000 initial claims opposed, I think it was 225. So this week is supposed to be 200,000. So it'd be interesting to see how that is. So yeah, that will also happen at the same time. And again, I'll show you the outcome of that information as well. However, the big event coming up, again, I've talked about this a lot, is Inflation Friday. That's what I'm calling it. And that's what I'm really excited about. And that's happening obviously tomorrow because it's Friday. And that is the US Consumer Price Index due on Friday at 12:30 p.m. UTC. I will be doing a watch along on that. I'll be going on air at 12:20 p.m. UTC. So please come along and join me for that. As the market currently stands, okay, well, fairly tepid even. FTSE minus 0.22%, DAX at minus 1.04%, and Eurostoxx currently trading at 0.01%. That's minus 0.01%. Other events, well, that's it. I've covered them all, really, to be honest, the rest of the week. Interest rate decision today, probably not going to do anything. ECB press conference potentially could be a massive event. And obviously tomorrow's US CPI, Inflation Friday. So I hope you join me. So like I say, I will be back online again later today, a little bit later than normal. So around about 1:30 p.m. so I can do a special on the ECB press conference. So yeah, please join me for that. And don't forget, you can ask me questions anytime if you have any questions. That's what I'm here for. And there is no questions, which is not a problem. It's not a problem. If you think of the questions later and you want to ask me, jot them on in the comments below on either Facebook or YouTube. I will see them and I will reply to them on my next live. Okay, so don't forget you're able to do that. So anyway, hope to see you later this afternoon about 1:30 p.m. UTC. Let's see what happens today with the press conference. Let's see how exciting it can potentially become. But anyway, if you're watching me on Facebook and you like it, give us a follow. If you're watching me on YouTube and you like it, subscribe if you like. Hit the notification button so you know next time I'm going live. And if you enjoyed this little episode and found it interesting, insightful, etc., give me one of those. It is Thursday. I like to have a smile on a Thursday. Anyway, till next time, don't forget, these little episodes are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as advice. I do suggest you do your own research and do your own due diligence. And of course, know the risks at hand before entering any trade. Till later, every single one of you, trade safe.